All right, bit to get through this afternoon. Welcome to the first game for the year. There's always, in my mind, three big build-ups for the year. The week leading into finals, the week leading into grand finals, and the week leading into round one. So it's an exciting time to be involved in footy. All right, from the top, we've got some milestones this week. So we've got a boundary umpire doing their first Divi 1 men's game. It's Hamish Pullen. A couple of 50 gamers, Chris Lees and Elliot Smith, a couple of our field umpires. Another field umpire doing their 100th game, Nick Stathoris. And a big 500 games to Steve Martin, the goalie. So, not the comedian, Steve Martin, the goalie. So, well done to Steve. That's a big achievement. All right, we've got an announcement on the training venue, which has been up in the air, obviously. For this week and possibly the rest of the year, if it goes all well, as well as we think it will, we're going to train at Fred Block Oval, which is the oval alongside the main Adelaide Uni Oval, Park 12. So we've got the change rooms at the southern end to use. The toilets, they'll be open from 5 o'clock. Just make sure you give yourself enough time to find a park. Obviously, parking around the areas can be a bit tricky at times, but for those that have umpired at Adelaide Uni Oval before, you probably know a good spot. As usual, training will go from 5:30 to 6:45 last week before daylight savings finishes, so we won't need lights this week. The association was going to do a barbecue this week. They're looking at doing it next week just to make sure that everything's settled with the training venue for that. Okay, uniform update. Unfortunately, Sports Centre have run out of sizes, most of the sizes, but they are busy producing some new ones. So if you haven't got your tops yet, got a couple of options. So if you want to buy a new shirt, I ask that you ring them tomorrow to make sure they save you a top for Thursday or Friday when they will be in. Just be aware that the sizes are the standard sizes. So the ones from a couple of years ago were way too small. So they're not those sizes. They are what you're used to. So if you're used to wearing a large, you don't have to get a double XL. It's just the normal size. So if you do want to use your shirt from last year, if you're wearing one without a sponsor's logo on the front, you can take that in and the printer is working. You can do that anytime this week. $10 will get you the BTR logo on it. So feel free to do that. Doesn't matter that the shirt logos are slightly different to the ones that for this year. We're happy for you to use last year's if you just want to get the BTR logo printed on. But hopefully we can still get what we need by the end of the week. Yes, as I said, Thursday or Friday, you should be able to go in and collect those shirts. Okay, so from tomorrow onwards, every Tuesday at 3:30, appointments will get released, not like the trial games, by email. You'll get them through Officials HQ. Officials HQ is a bit unreliable for sending out notification emails. You may or may not get them, but whether you do or not, you can just log into Officials HQ and get your appointment or appointments. Just a reminder that we expect everyone to confirm or decline by the end of Tuesday. Hopefully you put in leave if you can't umpire so that you don't have to decline. And then we'll, as we've done in the past, post the appointments, the final appointments on the website on Thursday afternoon. Just make sure you're aware of the provision of umpires. So we are covering some more grades this year. And so it's important it's easy to remember the field umpires because we're doing everything, but the boundary and goals, there's some grades that we are providing and some that the club have to provide. And so I'll put that in the email without having to go through it all now, but just remember that for C grade men's games, clubs don't have to provide boundaries. Sometimes they do, rarely though. We just do without them. So if you're doing a C grade game and there's a need to throw the ball in, you just get the ball and throw it up. You obviously have to get the ball back after a goal. You're going to have to decide whether it goes in and out. The C grade players are used to not having boundary umpires. And so that's the same as last year. If you do have a club that wants to provide a boundary umpire on one side and the other club doesn't want to provide a boundary umpire, there's no reason why you can't have one side with a boundary umpire and one without. Obviously, you have a throw in for the side where there's a boundary umpire and a throw up for the other side. We're going to go through the interpretations video shortly, but as I mentioned at our main coaching session, a couple of weeks or a few weeks back. One of the focuses for this year is taking action with players, and they're usually men's games where there's that false bravado. So they get a free kick, usually a hole in the ball, and then they want to, push or shake a player just to kind of rub their noses in it. We want to take action. We want to get the message that we don't want that. We want to take control of those situations. There'll be times where it's a clear reversal. There'll be other times where you don't think it warrants a reversal, and you can just hold it up, make your point, say, don't do it again. I'm just going to hold up the play so your teammates are all covered. And yeah, I just want to prove my point. Otherwise, if you're in any doubt, should you reverse or should you just hold the play up? Because we're making a strong stance in this and getting the message out that we don't want players to do it, I would rather you overreact and reverse the free kick and say you had the free kick, because of your actions, you've lost it, and they'll soon learn. So again, err on the side of reversing. All right, we've got heaps of new boundary umpires this week, especially if you're doing a women's game. Chances are you're going to be umpiring with a young or at least one young boundary umpire, probably more, doing their first game. They're going to be nervous. Just encourage, support them. Your role as a field umpire is really important. Worst case scenario, you're getting a boundary umpire first game and their throw-ins just aren't providing a contest, and it's continual. So give them a chance. Don't jump at this straight away. But if it's an obvious problem and they showing that they need practice before they can get it right, then grab the ball and throw it up and tell them not to worry about it, that they can practice it at training. But hopefully that doesn't happen. There's no requirement for it, but it is it's an option that you can use if you need to. And if any of you have any feedback for Ray Roberts, please provide it to him, positive and negative. They have so many new boundary umpires that they just don't know who's who, and any sort of feedback on any of them, I'm sure Ray and Neil and the others would appreciate. If you are doing a women's game, we're going to make an expectation this week that all field umpires will ask that nails and jewelry are checked before the game. We got a bit of feedback last week that in the trial game, women's trial game, there were some long fingernails. Obviously, some of them sometimes wear inappropriate jewelry. So let's just, while we don't have to do it every week, it doesn't hurt to do it every now and again. If you want to do it every week, that's fine. But for round one, let's all do it for every women's game. I'm going to put my number. I'm going to put Pete Angel's number in the coaching notes. If there's match day issues and you want to ring us and you want to try me first, that's fine. But obviously, I'm out umpiring. Pete isn't umpiring. He'll take the call all day long. And so, yeah, if there's a need to speak to us at all, you can ring me, leave a message for me. Don't expect you to be able to get me, but if you want something instantly, Pete's there for you. And the last thing I wanted to mention before we get on to the coaching video is that next week on the Zoom meeting, we're going to have the Tackle Your Feelings session. So some of you will be aware, a couple of years ago, the SANFL conduct these mental health education sessions, and we did one in person. I think it was at maybe Broadview Footy Club, and we had 15 and 20 umpires come along. They were keen to do another one again this year, and I sort of suggested, well, why don't we do one on the Zoom meeting so we're not making another night out and we can get more people involved. So we're going to try and do it on the Zoom next week. So, and we sort of opened it up for field boundary and goal to join that one. Obviously, we'll record it as well, but obviously mental health is a big issue these days. And if you do have some mental health issues, you might learn something from that. But if you are fortunate enough not to have mental health issues, then it's important to know the stuff so you can help others that might be suffering, and you want to know what you can do to help them. So I think it's a really important session, and we'll do that next week, because obviously the week after we don't have to worry about doing any games because we've got a couple of weeks off. All right. Yes, thanks, Alison. Just got your message. It was your chat with Pete that made me think of doing that. So Yeah, thanks for pointing that out to Pete. All right. Anyone got anything that they want to raise? Any questions from that or anything else from the weekend? Now's a good chance before we get into the interpretations video.
Hey, Colin, actually, there is something that I wanted to raise. And I know we don't have many female field umpires, but we do have a lot of boundary, and I know we've got a lot of female goal. I'm just struggling at the moment. I've had 2 instances now in the where the facility.
Well, Ali, you're in a bad spot. I know you're at your son's sport training, but I'm hearing every second or third word. Is it about the change rooms, facilities? Yeah.
Can you hear me better now?
I can hear you now, yeah.
Okay, I'm just running outside. Yeah, cool. It's not just the change rooms, it's the facilities for women and specific facilities required by women. And I had a really uncomfortable situation on the weekend for myself, and there was no one who could help me. And I just think it's really appalling that so many clubs still don't properly have stuff for the female umpires. And so, yeah, it's getting a bit upsetting to be in a situation where at halftime you have to go to the bathroom and there's no toilet paper in the first instance. In the first club I was at Houghton, and then at Edwardstown on the weekend. Different issue, but really uncomfortable. So I just wanted to raise that because I think, especially with the young girls, I mean, I can roll with it and that's okay, but there are many other young girls who might not be as willing to kind of tolerate the inequity.
Yeah. Okay. So there's a couple of things about that, Ali. One, like you mentioned it last week to me, but I really need an email from you if you want me to address it. If you're sending me a text or phone calls and I'm out and about, I won't remember it when I've got all the things. So I need an email. But possibly, I mean, I can forward it to the league and the clubs to perhaps action, but maybe, and I'll have a chat with Ian about this, maybe this is an Umpires Association issue because they can represent you and I guess talk to the league and the clubs on your behalf. It might be something. Gory, you're on there. You want to unmute yourself? Would you be happy from the Umpires Association point of view to, I guess, represent Ali?
I mean, if you keep loop me in with the emails, we can. I'm more than happy to take it up.
Yeah, because I think it's important. I think there's a mix of what can we do immediately, what can the clubs do immediately to address some of the issues that need to be, and then there's other times of we understand there's funding that clubs are working to, like look at CBC, like they would love to have better facilities, but they don't have the money yet to do it, and they were trying to get better facilities, and there's other clubs like that. Where it's come from 10 years ago when I first started, there's a whole lot of clubs that have amazing venues because they've got the funding to be able to do it, and there's other clubs that just haven't been able to get that. So there'll be stuff that we can address, or and the league, the clubs address. But yeah, pop it in an email, Ali, to me and Ian, and we'll see what we can do.
Thank you.
Anyone else? All right, let's get on to coaching video, which I hope most of you have had a look at. If you haven't, there's an expectation that you do look at this before the weekend. And if you have already look at it, then it doesn't hurt to have a look at it again. But we'll go through it. For those that have seen the previous year's interpretations video, this is a lot shorter, usually 15 or 16 minutes. This one's 8 or 9. So it's mentioned at the end, there's going to be a lot more coaching videos throughout the year, that some of the stuff that has been covered in the past will be covered on. The purpose of this video is primarily to highlight the differences between what the AdFL do and what we don't do or do differently. And so really important that we cross this, and I get grumpy when so someone pays a deliberate rush behind or does a 666 infringement or whatever. So especially if you're new, it's worth watching this over and over. There's some really good examples. But let's talk it through. So first one's no ruck nominations. Third player up is permitted. Just in there, so there's no free kick there. It's just play on. You don't have to worry about nominating ruck. And I guess you just need to be aware that because of that third player up being permitted, some clubs may try and block the third player up. Now, they can stand their ground and look like they're going for the ball and get in their way that way, but they can't move across and actually deliberately block a player going the third player up. So you may need to pay a blocking fee if they use that tactic. No deliberate rush behind, so clearly knocking the ball through, whacking it through, or it should always be all clear for a point. And similarly, if it's a ruck contest where it's knocked on the full into the goals or behind, always a point, never a free kick. Around the ground, in that case, if the ruck does hit it on the full over the line, it's a free kick around the grounds. But in that case, always all clear for a point. No stand rule, pretty easy to get your head around.
Yep. They go short. Nice kick.
So as in this case here, the player goes back on the mark, can move across as long as they go across it. There's no problem with what he's doing. Just as a side point, this is something I've mentioned in the past for the new umpires. You will hear if a player's taking their time to kick the ball or move it on, you'll hear the AFL umpires say move it on, and then they immediately say play on. The issue I have with that saying is move it on sounds so much like play on, but if you say move it on, you'll get players and run over the mark, and the worst thing you can do in that scenario is pay a 25. So what I would prefer is to change one word. Instead of move it on, you say move it now. Same meaning. It just doesn't sound like play on. So move it now, and then you call play on if they don't. It's a small but significant difference in my mind. I don't understand why the AFL umpires don't do it. But anyway, all right, no 666. It does mean the only infringement you're looking for is if there's 5 players in the square before a ball up. And I don't want us to be too technical about this, so it will come up in one of the coaching videos throughout the year. But if there's a team that has 5 players in the square and you notice it while the ball is being returned, you can actually tell them, like, get out of the square before I throw the ball up. And if one of them is running out and you can see that they're almost out, you can just hold the ball up until they're out. There's no point in paying technical free kicks in that scenario. We just want to make sure that there's 4 players per team in the square before the ball up, and we're not wanting to pay free kicks unless they just don't make an effort to get out. So yeah, the no 666. As in this example here, you can see there's a couple on the wing. They're standing on the centre half forward line. Yeah, it's just as it used to be. So obviously no 50-metre penalties. Everything's a 25. Even if you have a player count infringement, it's just 25. And if you have multiple infringements, you can pay 2 25s. Or if you have a really bad infringement, make it a good 25. But yeah, no 50s. Last possession rule, clear kick or handball goes out. There's a handball there. It's not touched, so it is not a throw-in. It's a free kick for opposition. If it's a accidental kick, then it is just a throw-in. If you're not sure in any way, shape, or form, it's a throw-in. If a player shepherds the ball, shepherds another player from touching the ball, then it's a throw-in. If a player chooses just to leave the ball and it goes out and there's no one else around it, it's still a free kick. But just make sure you're really aware of that rule before you go out there. But clear kick or handball, free kick to the opposition, accidental throw-in. Melee rule. So clubs will be fine if melee continues. 2 scenarios. So in this scenario where you have lots of players fighting, if you can get the play moving, then do so. And if they don't break it up, you need to notify me and notify the clubs that they will be fined. And I think that happened at a quarter time break or a halftime break. So there was no chance of getting the game moving. So if you can't get the game moving, that's where you need to blow the whistle 3 times. And what I would suggest in between, I think the rule says if you're calling out melee in between, but that doesn't mean much to players. What I would do is blow the whistle 3 times, and in between, say if you don't stop fighting, you'll be fined. You don't stop fighting, you'll be fined. And if you say it loud enough and effectively enough, it usually gets the message across. And if they want to keep fighting, then obviously they'll get fined. Yellow cards.
Yeah, can I just stop you? I agree with that. I use that a lot. I said your club will be fined if you continue this on, and suddenly, bang, everybody stops. It actually does really work. That's a good
100%.
one.
Yeah, spot on, Andre. Good to hear you listen.
Yeah,
Well
good on you, mate.
Nice. So the yellow cards, player off for 10 minutes can be replaced, as we'll get on to later on. If you're in any doubt about a situation where you think should I give a card or not, a yellow card doesn't mean a lot in the overall scheme of things unless the player plays on the edge. They get 2 yellow cards, the second one turns into a red card, and they get an immediate 1-week suspension the week after. And if they get 3 yellow cards for the season, they get a 2-week suspension. But out of 10,000 players, we probably 5 or 6 that get it for the year, so it's not a huge amount of players. But yeah, it's obviously a rule difference between us and the AFL. They don't have that in the AFL. Just remember that we don't, so in this case here, there's a little knee that goes in the back. It causes some angst. It's a bit ordinary. So Robbo gives the yellow, which is a good sign. Remember that we don't escort players off, but at the same time, we need to notify the coach's bench what is happening. If you need to get the runner to come out, or if the runner's in the area, you can let them know. Or if you're near the coach's bench, just make sure they know it's a yellow card or a red card. In the red card scenario, players off for as long as the umpire decides. So that's the rule. The rule is it's your discretion how long they're off for. I would say in most scenarios, if you think a player deserves a red card, it'll be off for the rest of the game. There are occasions where you might decide that you can let them back on, but as I said, if it's a serious enough offence, just send them off the rest of the game. They cannot be replaced for 10 minutes, so the team plays a player short. So in this case here, Chris Lambert's the umpire, great pickup here. Just aware that there's a little bit of friction, keeps his eye on him, and you can see that the headbutt, so it's huge headbutt, but it's a headbutt. And definitely worthy of a red card. And I got 1 or 2 weeks for that, so they got not the worst offence in the world, but really well handled from Chris. Before I go into the last part of the video, or the rest of the video, any questions on any of those things or comments?
Not on those particular things, but is there any changes on the blood rule? Do we have to still wait until they get off the ground, etc., and then resume playing?
Yep. We 100% do, right? There's nothing changed there. So this video is very much about the differences between what we do at our level and what the AFL umpires do. And there's no difference with the blood rule, the way it's treated at AFL level to the way we do it. So yes, we'll wait till they get off, and then and we let them be replaced.
Sorry, Colin, just to check, you said that if the ruckman taps the ball over the boundary line, that is a free kick. That's a last possession.
Yeah, well, it's deliberate out of bounds. Yeah. So yes, the ruckman. Just be sure that you know who it's come off. I did see a C grade grand final a few years ago where it was less than a goal difference, and a free kick was paid to the wrong player who then kicked a goal that won them the game. So if you're in any doubt about which hands that come off, just throw it in. But yes, if ruckman clearly hits it over, then it should be a free kick against them. But it doesn't happen very often. Just don't do it if they hit it through for a point or through the point or goal area. That needs to be a point.
So you are recognising a tap as a possession. It's not last touch. It's the last possession rule. A kick or a handball. So we are recognising a tap.
It's not a last possession rule, Andre. It's a deliberate out of bounds. It actually probably got a rule for itself in the rule book, to be honest.
Oh, okay.
It has to be on the full, doesn't it, Colin, for that rule to apply?
Yeah, that's what I've been saying. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not
Sorry,
sure.
yeah, thanks for clarifying that. I don't want anyone paying a free kick if the ruckman hits it and then bounces out. It needs to be on the full. Yeah.
Oh,
Make sure, make sure that we're aware of that. Yeah. Yeah. Please don't pay if it bounces out. Please don't pay a free kick for that. Yeah.
Oh, well, that's good clarity. Yeah, but
Yeah.
I mean, initially when this all came out, a lot of players were very, very confused about the difference between the last touch and last possession. And the clarity was always a kick or a handball. But yeah, that's an interesting one on the actual tap side of things.
So we'll keep it moving. I know I've got a bit to get through, but the last possession.
I'll shut up.
Last possession is separate to that particular rule. Yeah. All right. So we talked a little bit about this on the coaching video. The coaching session we had at Gazer. So the differences between what you guys are coached around as opposed to what an AFL umpire would be coached around. So important to just take these things on board. So if a ruck crosses the fly of the ball and stops. Now I didn't word this properly. I think Mark Goods pointed this out to me. Stops the other ruck from contesting the ball. It actually should be stops the other ruck from touching the ball. So in this case, if the ruck crosses the fly of the ball and stops the other ruck from touching the ball, a free kick should be paid. So in this example here, the Salisbury North ruck crosses the line. The Ross Trevor player does contest it, but he can't touch it. So that's why a free kick's paid. Holding the ball. So if you're in any doubt whether there's multiple hands on the ball or if a tackler's brought the ball in or you're not sure if the player on the ground has taken possession, then we just want to keep the play moving. So that player on the ground, that scenario is penalised for taking possession of that ball. Otherwise, we want to err on the side of protecting the ball player. If you're in any doubt in any scenarios, this is a great example. So I'm not sure whether there was high contact there or not. But no one's going to lose any sleep over that being paid. I think Mounts did a great job there of paying that free kick. And so when a player acts outside the spirit of the game, causes the opposition to be aggrieved, go to the side of at least using a yellow card. Brilliant example from Luke Harrington at Div 6. There's a bit of heat in this game.
Players getting shoved to the ground.
So Adams paid a free kick there. Then off to the side, Luke knows the player goes to ground. I don't reckon he saw fully what happened. But you can put 2 and 2 together there that that player has gone down because of the Eastern Park player and he uses yellow card to control the situation. Really good umpiring. Dangerous tackles. If there's anything that concerns you about a dangerous tackle or a tackle where a player's taking the ground, at least play a free kick. So that one is taking the ground with some sort of sling, not major. Free kick's fine there. Obviously, more serious ones you can do a red or yellow card. For running too far, I'm happy with this one being paid because Rashi does, in this case, let it go, and then he turns and takes a couple of extra steps. If you are thinking, I think that the players run too far, just give them an extra step or two to see them kick it. And if you had let that go and not paid running too far there, I wouldn't have lost any sleep. So I'm happy with that one being paid because I think he did run too far. But if you're in any doubt out there and you start thinking, has he or she run too far, wait that extra step or two. And if they haven't kicked it or handballed it, then you ping them. So a lot of players don't know this, but deliberate out of bounds can still be paid if the ball is hit directly over the boundary line. And it's obvious they're doing nothing but try and get the ball out. That one there doesn't hide it very well at all. So in that particular grand final, I was paid 2 in the space of 10 seconds. Only pay support free kicks for high contact, dangerous tackles, and red and yellow cards. So in this one here, Pat didn't pay a free kick and really needed a yellow, which Crosland's come in and paid. Now, Pat may have just had a player in the way or just have got it wrong, whatever. They're ones where we need the other umpire to come in and pay. And just on that, for this week and for this year, while we're looking at false bravado, if I'll give you permission as the other umpire to come and pay a support free kick if the umpire in control doesn't do something with a false bravado. So if you see the other umpire not take action when a player has done some of the acts that we've talked about, including these couple of examples, feel free to come and take action, because we really want to get that message out there. We don't want those opportunities. So this one here, hold the ball. There is some holding on from both players here, but there's that really quite unnecessary push there. Marek, there's no need to reverse that one. In that case, you just hold him up and say, don't do that again. Let me take control of it. In this one, it's a more significant action where he strongly pushes in the ground, and Paul does the right thing in reversing. So that's getting the message across that, you know, we've already paid a free kick. We're paying a 25. He didn't need to do it. So the one about the annoying tagging, just use that for really clear targeting of a player, so that, you know, the Matt Scorn targeting that happens at AFL level, where a team goes after him, and if you're aware that a player is getting targeted, you can give them one warning and then start paying free kicks after that, just to keep on top of it. Make sure that we use red cards for any vilification. If you hear it, need to take action, and involve the matchday officials when there are crowd issues to sort out. Things will crop up where you need to get them. So most important thing for a local game of footy is to keep control. If players take control, things can escalate really quickly. Ripping through this last bit of the video because we're running out of time. So good communication, having a presence are keys to a good umpiring performance. This is a great example. I love this one. So after a goal, players come together, a bit of push and shove. Frank gets right in there. You can see he's calm. He's communicating well.
Colin.
His language is excellent.
Colin,
Players
there's
are aware that he's
their
there,
change
and
rooms.
because of Frank's action, they separate and nothing eventuates from it. If you're not there, if you're not communicating, if you're not having a presence, that's where they'll take it into their own hands. Don't forget about teamwork. If you need to use boundary and goal umpires to sort out any issues, so this is the last possession free kick where it may be a bit hard for Marek to see if it was a handball or if there's anyone to touch it. He's enrolled the boundary and goal umpire in on it. And so you can always use those boundary and goal umpires, obviously the scoring examples as well. They're there to help you and make sure you communicate with them. And just playing the obvious and blatant free kicks helps keep the players focused on going for the ball. So if you miss these type of free kicks, this is where you're going to have control issues. So clearly held without it. Good free kick from Brian, I think it is. There's a bit of heat in this game as well. So it was just that type of free kick that kept a lid on things. So if the players are fairly contesting the ball, let them play footy. We all love games where they're just playing the footy. And you don't want to jump in and pay free kicks if you don't have to. So if you see a passage of play like this, we're all going to the ball. There's nothing obvious and blatant to pay. You can just let it go. Even there, you know, you could have paid something, but it was just well umpired. And so yeah, the old adage, if they want to play footy, let them. So yeah, we'll have some more videos throughout the year. Obviously, there's resources on the website, the umpires manual, etc. But I wanted to take you through the interpretations video tonight, and feel free to go and have another look at that during the week. So we have 2 minutes left on this Zoom. Has anyone got anything pressing they really want to bring up? All right. I feel like I did a lot of talking that Zoom, and I think I did. But look, go out and enjoy yourselves this week. Obviously, exciting time for everyone. Just want to see some good footy played in the right spirit. We'll try and get the appointments right. We're trying to make you not travel too far, give you all 2 games if you want it. Yeah, if you've got any real concerns about your appointment, feel free to give me a call. But it's obviously a big job trying to get them all together, so we won't get it right all the time. And yeah, go and enjoy. Big week of footy ahead. So it all starts from now. All right. Without any further ado, look forward to seeing the Adelaide Uni Oval or the Fred Block Oval on Wednesday night.